Hello there, welcome to my channel. I'm Chase Moser, and today we're going to be going over the sequel to Candyman. It's actually not the, sequel that's Candyman 2, it's the direct sequel from 2021. I'm actually really glad that they did a direct sequel to this because growing up the original was so terrifying to me, and I actually did watch 2 and 3 whenever I was younger at some point, but they were not as fun or as great or as scary, so I don't really remember them all that much, and I haven't seen them since then. One of my favorite aspects about Candyman was how terrifying it was to the commentary about what was going on. So the fact that this one does that just as well, if not even kicks that up a notch, I really appreciate, and it's really interesting to watch. It's kind of interesting taking an approach where Tony Todd is not the present killer, but he does have a slight cameo. I guess I would say maybe a nod to his presence at the end of the film, which is really fun. But even with that, it was still something that I like. It's way better than any of the other Candyman sequels, and it definitely has a great story that deserves to be listened to. So with all of that being said, let's get right into Candyman 2021. I like how this one has its own music, and of course it has little nods to the first one, how could it not? But everything is just, so perfect, from the way that they do the opening titles of the buildings. It's so creepy. I never realized that it was like, one was looking down and one was looking up, but after a few times watching that and like watching other people's reviews and stuff, I noticed that that was a thing, and I was like, that's so cool, I never picked up on that. Meeting Anthony and have him being the star of the film, which I'm just going to jump the gun on with the surprise of, is that he is the baby from the first movie, is such a smart concept to me, and it was actually really chilling and interesting. I thought that that was such a cool thing to do. It was smart, it was something that I would write, it was something that I would want to be a part of, or it was something that I would want to watch. So it's not like out there, it's not, unfathomable, and it's really kind of a better concept than any of the other sequels had to have done. I really like Brianna, his girlfriend. I know that she's a really fun character for me because a lot of the time she's like, nope, I don't really want to hear that. I also like her brother, and that he really kind of has like nothing to do with the horror film at all, because he keeps like giving these little inputs and things like this, and you think, oh, like he's gonna get killed at some point, and he doesn't, and I really like that. Having Anthony be a painter is the choice that I really find the most fun to watch because of how he finds his inspiration through things, and he doesn't know it but ends up resurfacing all of this, kind of bullshit that he should never have poked his nose into, and just how powerful it is to be like in that void of not being able to know what to create, and then being inspired by something traumatic and having it completely overtake you. Now, of course, he has a special case because he's specifically connected and tied to the events, but we've all been there, I kind of think, where you've been in the lull and then, have been inspired because, something just moves you so emotionally, whether it's like good or bad, and that's what happened for him. I also really liked the concept of having multiple Candyman. They played with that with a little bit in the first one, and, people are always taking up the name, and I like that it is a commentary on class and gentrification and how they do these things to these communities and expect them to evolve with society when having none of the resources or the benefits, and how they touch about how there was the cops that only go down there just to like get suspects, and that kid ends up growing up and being such an integral part to Anthony's turn in the film. It was just really crazy how it all played out in like perspective, because there is so much tragedy and heartfelt moments, and it's all coming from a place of truth, and it's insane to think about what would be happening if these things were really happening. Some of my favorite parts would definitely include how he has that art exhibit thing, and people don't really get it, but I thought it was really cool, especially like how you look behind it. I guess that it looked a little cliche, like how it just looks like a bathroom mirror at the front, but the part where the girl looks into it and then ends up going to the school, that was actually really awesome. I kind of wish we would have been able to see more. That is another thing. I do wish we would have been able to see maybe more of the Candyman killer, or not just in the reflection of the thing, but it is something different, and we do see him still, and it's scarier in a different way. So I guess I'll take that for that. And because it is something that I haven't always really seen before, with just the showing up in the mirror and having the things there, but sometimes in life, and especially when Anthony's in the hallway and it's like copying exactly everything he's going through. Yeah, there's a lot of cool parts in this, but it's so different than I think that I or anybody else ever expected, so they didn't know how to take it. I remember people giving this a lot of negative review when it first came out, and I just did not understand that, and it was something that I definitely anticipated a lot, and whenever I watched it, I was not disappointed. I thought it was crazy, it was scary, and now I still enjoy the first one a lot more. Not that this one is bad, but it's like that first one was so bloody and scary, and that dog thing. Oh my god, Helen, we have to talk about Helen. I love the concept of how wanting to keep Candyman, dormant and under wraps and everything like that. They blame Helen, and you know that at the first one she died for all of these things and it wasn't going well for her anyway, but you kind of get this, what is it, justification at the end whenever she's like saving that baby and everything that's going on. You feel like okay for her, like there's like a payoff and everything, and then to find out later and hear all these years that how it turns out is that she's the villain, and the whole misconstrued story and how it's not right, and it's like you just want to scream and tell all the characters how it really went down and how that Helen wasn't the bad guy, and it was just crazy. But then you understand why, and the perspective of it all, and just the secrets that come out are so crazy. I love how they got the original mom back who was having the baby from the first one. She looks insanely good. I mean, I can't even imagine that. And I love having characters come back, and I like requels. I love this whole thing about that. I know some people are mixed on it. For the most part, I find that it's a really fun, interesting trend, and I would like to see it done with a lot of other horror movies. Could you imagine if there was a direct sequel to Alien or Aliens or something like that? Like, what? Bro, that'd be so fucking crazy. Anyway, yeah, it's super fucking awesome, and I just really, really appreciated how scary it was and how interesting it was and how I did not know what was going to go on at any moment or at any point in time, and I really wanted to know what was happening and how he was learning about the different Candyman, and that it's happened throughout history, and that you always end up hearing the crimes or hearing the villain and saying this part of it, but you never say their names, and they're always forgotten. And it's so synonymous with like the say their name and like the BLM movement and real life matters. And I'm kind of funny. I mean, it's not funny, but it's funny that it's like funny, not haha, but funny like, oh, you could, because even in the trailer they do the whole like say my name song, like, but different, and it's like scary. They put that in the trailer, and it's because it's synonymous with what's going on. Is you never say the names of these people, and they all just become known as Candyman. And we actually probably were so harsh on this entry of a film because we were also used to the one Candyman. But it's like, if you take a step back and realize that the Candyman is just a horrible, horrible event that has happened to countless people, it's really sad, and it's really fucked up, and it takes consideration to really take in a story like this. And I hope that with time, people really have had this sunk in. I remember it was met with a lot of good review. I remember a lot of people didn't like it too, but I really hope now that a couple years have passed that it can stand in a place of appreciation, because it moved me, it made me question, it made me understand, gasp, wonder, scream. It was awesome. I was, oh my god, and the twist at the end when the guy ends up being fucking loopy in the head, it was just so smart. And especially how Brianna was able to just take matters into her own hands. And it was so sad seeing the two of them together and like the dwindling of their relationship. And it's like you want to step in and help, and there's almost nothing you can do or say, and you want to, it's also, I feel like, a commentary on, past and trauma and mental health issues and not being able to do or say anything. And it's like Anthony just, oh my god, it's so sad. There's too many things going on, but not in a bad way, too many things. Just like, it's so obviously overwhelming, and for very good reason and for very good understanding, and you just feel for the characters, or at least I did. And if you don't, I don't know how or why, what you were paying attention to. And I just love at the end what she was going through with her own struggles and her own understanding and concepts. You know, this is a different world that she has to live in now, taking all of this in, being arrested, seeing the racism for herself whenever she's in the back of that car and they fucking are about to pull the shit that they do with the whole "you'll say what I say you'll say" thing. And she kind of like asked to look in the mirror, and that was awesome. But like, it's maddening. It's so maddening, and it's for a reason, and it's on purpose, and it's a commentary. And the original one was a commentary, and this one is a commentary. So if you're gonna get on this one and not get on the original one, that's not gonna make any sense to me. I think that it perfectly stays in line with everything that they've got going on. I think it's the most consistent sequel in this franchise, and I was really, really proud of watching this. And thank goodness to the director of it, because she did an awesome job. So that's amazing. So hands up to her. In all, if I had to give this movie like a rating, I would probably give it like 3.8 or 9 stars out of 5. It was super fucking great, and that's the only reason it's that is because, you know, Candyman is probably 4.5 or 5 out of 5. Like, it just, bro, like, it's so good, so good. I would totally be open to more Candyman sequels. I love Tony Todd back. I would like more sequels to this. I wouldn't mind developing that story, that commentary, seeing where it goes. I bet you it could go in a lot more chilling places, and I would really love to see that. So, yeah, it was definitely a great installment and one of my favorite sequels of a franchise that's done a sequel like this. Let me know what you think down in the comments and how you feel about this and where it stands with your franchise. I'll probably at some point maybe go over Candyman's 2 and 3. I don't know when, so don't ask me. But yeah, just let me know your ranking, your rating, your review, everything like that down in the comments, how you feel about Candyman. Be sure to check out some of my other videos. I've done a bunch of different genres. I am trying to do some more. I've done some reactions, location visits, fun things like that. You know, the newest Scream movie just came out. I've been heavily focused on that and a lot of other things, and I can't wait to talk about a lot of stuff, get my reviews out for Scream. I want to do some more Halloween stuff for this season. So many things, and I hope you continue to watch and check out my community tab, because I like to ask fun questions, do polls, post pictures, things like that, and that's sometimes the best way to interact with me. So with all that being said, I guess I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.